Welcome back, folks, and thanks for joining us today. With 8 hens, of which half will already turn 4 this summer, over the last winter we had to be a little mindful as to eggs. This despite the fact that we had preserved somewhat around 120 eggs for the non-egg-laying season, the winter. Last year only Lagerford chose to hatch, and from 10 eggs only 1 hatchling hatched. 2 years ago we had decided to leave breeding to the clucking hens, and early this year we had added our rooster Nido to the flock. But especially the older hens started laying eggs rather late this spring, and none of them showed any sign of willingness to hatch. So in March we decided to take matters in our own hands and grab the incubator from our attic. When we started with chickens 4 years ago, we used an old bunny cage as kind of a hatchling kindergarten. That cage worked fine, but now we were ready for something more solid, durable and sophisticated, that could also be used in an alternative manner, for instance as a sick bay for chickens, if needed. The new hatchling kindergarten was going to go on top of what used to be a dog crate, my wife's choice, and so the task was clear and I had a place to start. The dog crate had seen better days, and after taking some measurements of the surface, I decided to build a new base for the hatchling kindergarten to sit on. So I took some slats and a sheet of 12mm OSB and got started with the sides. What I didn't know at this point was that this project would have a not-so-pleasant surprise coming for me. The table saw was as simple as a saw motor unit mounted under a table, DIY, and this setup had worked fine for me for quite some time. But well, that didn't sound so good, and it also didn't smell very nice. The machine was gone, beyond repair. But fortunately, our neighbor, just some 6 weeks earlier, had given us this decades-old job site saw for free, which he otherwise would have tossed out. Well, lucky me, although that machine was in pretty bad shape. It was old and worn. The groove I had started with my now dead table saw, I finished with the router. After giving the neighbor's gift a little love, it did actually work again. The motor was very weak though, and this was certainly not going to be a permanent setup or solution, but it helped me out and kept me going with the project, especially since I only had a few more slats to cut. So once the frame for the new base was done, I could shift my attention to the frame for the hatchling kindergarten itself. There were quite a few things to glue up, and the glue-up jig I had built earlier this year did great, as it did in several other occasions in the meantime. And while I was busy making the glued up boards pretty, my wife told me she had something to show to me.
Kannst du den sehen?
Ja.
Gut, und wer das noch?
Oh. Well, no more time to waste. Soon the frame was put together and some aviary wire was attached to the back and the sides. Almost 5 p.m. and there were still at least some doors for the front to make. It was way past 9 in the evening when the doors were finally in, and it was just in time. The first little one had just hatched.
Wir haben eine Erika. Die ist ganz frisch und ist die erste.
Close call, but well. The next morning there were 3 more, and my wife had by then prepared the kindergarten. The ground is covered with linoleum and this fine straw mulch on top. The heating plate was in, as well as food and water, and a bowl with a little sand for bird bathing. So the kindergarten was functional at this point, and for the time being we added a particle board to cover the top, so our 2 cats wouldn't even consider. Yeah. And just so I don't forget to mention, before putting the frame on top, I had also added a backing of OSB to the base construction off camera. Alright, so the only thing missing was the top, which I glued up more slats for. The last job on this project was a little hatch right in the center of the whole top lid thing. In the meantime, the new table saw had arrived and was put to work straight away. And yes, of course, I later put in the riving knife. Well, priorities. And when I just thought I was done, I realized I had put on the hinges the wrong way. Which was annoying, but a rather easy fix, of course.
So, fertig.
So, there you have it. A kindergarten for our hatchlings, where they were to spend the first 6 weeks of their life before moving them to the pen. Which has happened in the meantime, but that's a whole other story, of course. So, stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Remember, give us a thumbs up and subscribe and spread the word to help our channel grow. Cheers, folks. Until next time, be well. See ya.